Hello everyone, this is Hadrian. Thank you for watching. Let's finally play some Crusader Kings II, shall we? Before I talk about this, as usual, this is just an introduction to this series. There's no gameplay here, so those of you who are more interested in that and don't want to hear my framework for the series to come, follow the link on your screen and I'll see you in episode 1. If you are new to my channel, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome. I have been waiting to play Crusader Kings II on the channel for a long time. My focus is on games with grand narrative, specifically those games that evoke and inspire emergent stories in our minds instead of just telling us stories overtly, which there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy a good RPG as much as the next guy, but I have a particular bias towards games that tell an implied story or that have emergent storytelling. With that in mind, my noon time slot in which this series is going to run is reserved exclusively for historical and grand strategy titles, so I should have played CK2 sooner, right? Let me give you the short version of what we're going to do with this series, which I'm calling Lord of the Scots. We are going to play as Pictland in the earliest possible start. That's up here, for those of you who don't know where Pictland is. That's actually ancestral Scotland, so that's why we're calling it Lord of the Scots. Our goal will be to oversee the advent of Scottish culture and form the Empire of Britannia, or perhaps a new empire that still encompasses the British Isles, all with a Scotsman on the throne. We're going to start off playing as King Sineod, I think that's the correct pronunciation, of Pictland. I have never played this start before. I have heard this start is difficult. When researching which start I wanted to use for this series, I kept agonizing over doing a start that was both somewhat original and somewhat approachable, and I mean agonized. I was anxious and thinking really hard and researching and all this mess. Then I just thought, screw it. I'm just going to have fun with it. CK2 is a game about the stories that you tell as you play. So this is literally going to be the story of the Empire of Scotland, however well or however badly that goes. I just want to note very quickly, I have all of the DLCs for Crusader Kings II enabled except for 3, so might be a slightly larger number than you're expecting me to say. I am not running with Sunset Invasion, so you can see that blinked out, and those of you who are more familiar with what should be on this side here, you might notice I don't have Horse Lords or Conclave. I just haven't played with them yet. So none of those newer features are going to be in this Let's Play, but that might be in a future one. So that's that. I would also really like this to be an interactive series. Comments are always welcome on this channel, and I generally welcome suggestions from people when they come up, but in this case, I want to take it farther. There is a lot I am still learning about CK2, and I will be paying close attention to the advice you give me in the comments. I welcome any and all advice and suggestions from my subscribers in general, and from the CK2 and Paradox communities. So that's about it. Before I get started, though, I want to say one last thing in my introduction to this series. I'd like to give a very special thank you to the good people over at the Paradox Plaza. A few months ago, like I said, I was agonizing about this. I was just thinking really hard, like, how do I do it? Can I do it? And I just reached out to anyone on the forum that would listen, and I essentially said, look, this is the series I want to do, but I'm not sure that I really want to do it. I'm not sure I know enough about the game. Should I do that with that in mind, or are we past the point where this would be interesting to people because Crusader Kings II is an older game, even though it's still quite popular? The response was just, I mean, go read the thread if you can find it, but it was just so positive and awesome, and is just exactly the kind of response you want or hope for when you get a response like that. Even, I mean, they could have been that nice and said, no, that's not a good idea, but they were nice and said, you know what, go for it. And it was easily the deciding factor in making this series happen. There was more than just that factor, of course, but it was easily the deciding factor. It was the biggest chunk that made me say, oh, well, screw it. I'm just going to do it. It's going to be fun. So thank you to those of you who are here from Plaza, those of you who subscribe to the channel from that thread. I hope you enjoy the series and that it lives up somewhat to your expectations. So let's get this started. If you're looking forward to the series, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next episode. I'll be uploading new episodes of Lord of the Scots every day at noon Eastern Daylight Time, which is GMT-4 for those of you not in the States. And as I said, comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the first episode.